Discovering Brockton Windshield survey. I believe this is number 4, and Harvey Hayes is helping me out again. We're starting at something Harvey noticed, which is Father Bill's in Mainspring. Nobody should be homeless. This is a program office for that organization. Those were two separate organizations, Father Bill's and Mainspring. Mainspring was named for the intersection near downtown of Main and Spring, and we'll be talking about that. A lot of Bridgewater alumni have worked for both organizations,
and our church does packs lunches for them.
Yes, and our church in Bridgewater, as a lot of churches do, does a program to help with their work program. The homeless people who stay with Mainspring House, a lot of them go out on jobs during the day, and for that they need lunch. So there are churches in the area surrounding Brockton that take turns providing lunch. So we'll get together and pack maybe 100 lunches for them to take out. And now, adjacent to it, and the real reason I came over here, this is a model of the Massachusetts State House in Boston. I think I've been told it's about a third scale. It has always been in disrepair in the 20 years I've lived here in the area, and it's always looked like this could be a tourist attraction, but it's now what they call an attractive nuisance. It attracts vandalism, unfortunately. And it is adjacent to the Brockton Fairgrounds. Beer stand is closed. On the left, we also notice this Independence Academy, which has that name very much like a charter school. So we'll see what we can learn about that. It is with the North River Collaborative, though, which is a social service agency, so it might actually be a little different from a charter school. It might be
maybe like an after-school program,
like an after-school or a vocational training. And here we're coming into the fairgrounds. We notice people kind of mixed bag today, whether we notice people masked or not, but mostly masked. Brockton has a lot of COVID cases, and so people are being as careful as they can with their masks. Even these kids out running in the field, they all have masks on, wearing them as much as they can. So this is the Brockton Fairground. It has, refreshment stands, and we're going to pull up here along the poultry barn, which looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
And over on our right is grandstands for things like rodeos and large animal stuff.
Backlit, so
it's very backlit, but you might look at a different view of that sometime. And now we're just going to turn toward an exit, and we're going to sort of touch up against one of the previous survey drives. The Brockton Fair is both famous and infamous. It gets a little dicey late at night, apparently, but during the day it's a very popular family outing. And there have been Brazilian rodeos, full-on rodeos held at this site in the past. I've not heard of any recently. So we're going to exit the fairgrounds and come out here near the high school. A small residential neighborhood. This is Othello Street. Wow, and we have strong lighting today.
Guess I'll just film that side of the street.
Yeah, Harvey's just trying to figure out how to avoid being totally backlit. We're about to pass the Registry of Motor Vehicles. Most of the country, of course, it's called a DMV, but in Massachusetts, it's called the RMV.
That's where I failed my driver's test. Right there.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Or no, I got my permit there. I took my test on Cape Cod for some reason.
That was sad. That was a sad day. But he's a licensed driver in the state of Illinois now and doing very well. So we're going to come up here and go through grocery store parking lots. If I can figure out which way to turn. I think we just go straight across here. So we'll see Shaw's, and just we're not going to go into the store. It turned out last year the students who are in the, we're going to be backlit again.
Yeah,
I'm
really
gonna get close to the
have
store.
not gotten any good lighting in this video so far.
If I get close enough to the store, maybe we can get
Yeah, I think if we pull around the front.
an image here. So this is just Shaw's, and it's just an excuse for me to say, I mean, grocery stores are everywhere in a sense, but not really. The downtown area has historically not had a grocery store, so even getting here for a lot of people in this city might be a little difficult. So we can talk about the idea of food deserts, because a lot of people in urban places throughout the world, throughout the United States certainly, have limited access to healthy diet, because grocery stores like this can be difficult to get to. This one's located within the city limits and is accessible to quite a few people, and there is the public transportation gets here as well. So Brockton could be is better off than it might be, and it is also.
There's a Stop and Shop here too.
Is
it closed?
This is the odd thing, is that Stop and Shop is adjacent to Shaw's, and it was open the last time I was over here, but that has all, we see like white paper over all the windows. I had not heard this, but yes, this is closed.
This is where you used to come if you wanted like any like good international ingredients, right? You had to come to the Brockton Stop and Shop.
Yes, exactly. So this is, I always thought it was odd that two grocery stores were surviving next door to each other, and apparently that's no longer the case. Sometimes, but who else is going to buy a grocery store? It could be another store opens here. Sometimes we see that. I will say that in the center of Brockton, there's Vicente Market and some others that do a really good job of providing fresh produce inside this center of the city. This looks like it was open until very recently. It's
like all still very fresh. Lots of there's a Taco Bell and a McDonald's.
Yes, lots of fast food around here. So what Harvey was just alluding to is one important thing is, even within a chain of grocery stores, the availability of ethnic foods can really vary. By ethnic, I just mean international communities located here. You can often find what's going on in a place by what's available in the grocery store, what's going on in terms of migration. Briefly, for a while in Bridgewater, we could find some Brazilian ingredients, and then they went away. But the grocery stores try to keep up on that, and so you can find root vegetables that you might not find in other cities or towns, depending upon who is coming to the area from South America or the Caribbean or Africa or Asia. Anywhere in the world, the local grocery might reflect that. And another thing about grocery stores generally, within a chain, you might find very different prices on the same item. And if we had regular times, we would actually do some research on this. I'd have you do some shelf scanning for this. But you can find the same item cost differently at the same, say, Stop and Shop in different towns, because each store has to pay rent. It has to justify the cost of the building. And if it's in a more expensive area, then it's going to charge more for the same goods. Sometimes people think it's a plot or sinister or something, but it's just necessary to to make a profit at a store. They have to charge according to the cost of the land where the store is.
Is there an H Mart in Brockton?
I'm not aware of what H Mart is. So
it's an Asian market.
Oh, I don't know. There was a pretty comprehensive Asian market just north of downtown that I know closed. We went there once to shop for a meal, and the next year I noticed it was gone. So now we're back on Route 123, and we're headed toward the edge of the city, and I'm just going to comment on a couple of things. We're going to be passing the VA hospital, which won't be backlit now, so Harvey might be able to get a good view of that in a minute. And also, the other day when we were over here, I noticed one of my favorite not favorite, but just something that's always stood out to me is this little shop we're about to pass that looks like a box of Good and Plenty candy. And you'll see what we mean when we pass it. And then we're going to go over to the very edge of the city. So this has all been a little bit west of downtown on Route 123. This is kind of an extended windshield survey. We're going to be getting to the edge of town on Route 24 in just a few minutes. And so as we get close to Route 24, we might see some other land uses as the access to the highway becomes a real selling point for land. Somebody's getting in the way of our view of the big Veterans Hospital. There it is. It's quite massive. Whoops, and then I decided to stop for that stop sign. It is pretty scary. We had a long presentation by a nurse who was working in there a few years ago, and it was quite sad. The veterans hospitals are not supported the way they should be. And now we're getting very close to Route 24, so we're going to pass a couple of gas stations, one on each side of the street so that you can turn right into them, don't have to turn left. Of course, there's Coffee Mary Lou's. We can talk about Mary Lou's sometime. It's a long story. And then here is the Good and Plenty auto broker.
There we go. Kind of got it. Oh yeah, got a good lighting on that side.
And then huge gas stations here, car dealers, a lot of businesses that really have an advantage being close to the highway. And we're going to cross over Route 24 now. This, of course, is the main north-south route between Fall River, New Bedford at the south end, Boston at the north end, and it is treated like an interstate highway, but not built like an interstate highway. So it's quite a dangerous road, statistically speaking. And here we're over 24, so there are gas stations on both sides of the street on this side as well. So within 1 minute of that intersection, there are 4 large gas stations because this is a busy enough street that they're catering to drivers going every direction. So so that you don't have to make a left turn to get gas.
Like a billion traffic lights.
And a billion traffic lights. Every kind of combination of left turn and other kind of situation. And I think this has the added benefit of a little side roads coming in like spokes of a wheel. This is kind of a complicated,
like an 8-way intersection or something.
And we are now going to be dropping a lane, so getting here where 123 crosses into Easton somewhere. Here's a little strip mall with both independent and chain shops, coffee shops. And at some point we are crossing into the town of Easton, and here it comes. Here's the sign. So a nice wooded area. So the transition starts before the city line. Here's the city line. So now we're in a different county. And this leafy area on the right is the campus of Stonehill College, which is a Catholic college located entirely in the town of Easton. And I'll mention this is a sort of a border issue. See, it's a beautiful landscaped campus. And wow, they have a gate closed. I have never seen that happen. I'm going to do the little exit before the gate. I've driven through this campus dozens of times.
Cool swans.
Oh, nice. Hi, I'm just going to turn around here.
Oh, sure,
Yeah.
right there.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you. This is brand new. This campus has I've been here visiting for legitimate reasons and also just traveling through to observe. One thing I was going to mention is its water supply is the city of Brockton. So sometimes there can be some conflict over the use of water by the campus. Over here is a used car dealership that used to be a wonderful little independent coffee shop with a direct connection to a coffee farm in Costa Rica, and I was so sad when they sold it.
That's a used car dealership?
It's now a used car dealership.
It
yes.
just looked like a parking lot.
Right. I think it must be attached to these other bigger ones
Yeah.
now. Something like that. So I think that will conclude this windshield survey. Thank you.